I'm really stupid.
Alone and it was night. I had nobody else to turn to but the voices talking to me from afar. And with endearing words so silent, they told me the secret about who you really are. A million images and words long since forgotten, of events that no one ever saw. I hear a whimper as I kneel, realizing that it's your pain that I feel. In this house of worship, I must and as I wandered through the night, I felt the presence of the past, the future, and the present now. gushing out of the cracks and fissures. Split me in two and I'm hollow inside. You can make me feel their sorrow. Did you think that the earth could cry? I was alone and it was night. But there's blood gushing out of the cracks and fissures. Split me in two and I'm hollow inside. You can make me feel their sorrow. Did you think that the earth could cry? In the darker midst of light, leading down into its bowels, and I walk the spiral staircase as the mist slowly descends.
Y'all are going crazy.
Just continue to act as if I'm not here. I don't care for love or hate, and I know there is no such thing as fate. No greater power
Hi.
will punish your mistakes.
What's up, everybody?
Your lights are out of your own. Out of your own.
Whoa. That is a hell of a deal. Everything always happens right as I'm about to stream. It does. It's absurd. I was going to do something. What was it? That's the thing. It completely just destroys my... Oh yeah, I'm doing the translation now. Thanks to Static for the first donation of the afternoon. Static. We'll get to your song here momentarily. But which of the incentives are you supporting, my boy, my dude, my friend? I haven't seen you in a bit. And you've probably been doing your own streaming. How many Andrews are there? A lot. Wow, we actually got through that whole entire Beardfish song. That's wild. Well, I guess that's what happens whenever you, I guess that's what happens whenever you have to pee. I guess that's what happens whenever your cats are all going crazy. You know, I sit down. Mittens acts like he doesn't want out. He doesn't leave. And now he wants out. Don't you just love cats?
Yes, Your Majesty. Goodbye. No, Nemo.
Okay. So, how's everybody doing? I'm doing alright. Yeah, he wants out to live his life. Nightbot can be a real ass. Really? He can argue with you? I figured that'd have to be like programmed or something like that in order for that to happen. Okay, my phone has also been acting like a real piece of garbage lately, and I like that. No, I don't. I hate that. Laura Walker. Hi, Laura. I see you out there in the land of the chat, I think, maybe. Thanks for the $4 donation. I appreciate that. Whoever you are in the chat, I know that you're probably hoping for a song request, so please let me know who you is. That way I can get your request in. And Static, if you told me what the incentive was you were supporting, please let me know again, because I don't see it. Oh, no, you said number 2. Number 2. Can I give your free song request to OA? Yeah, if you'd like to do that. That is A-okay. We can do that. So $6.40 heading toward number 2. Cool. Laura, you also have $4 to basically do with your will. You have a song under 5 minutes that you can use, as well as $4 that you can put toward one of the 3 incentives. We got to get up SoundCloud. Actually, I have to get up Discord, because this will just be easier to do this way. Because I'm lazy. Remember, any donations under $20 or over $20 rather, you get to spin the multiplier wheel. We have done that so far in the event 15 different times. There were 30 options, but one of them was the "You So Lucky" that Mario got to start us off. Like literally, it was the first fucking spin of the multiplier wheel. and that basically just constituted a respin. So we actually have 14 selections left, including the 100%. We have the CKN dance, we have a free song, and the big thing that we have out there, the two big things that we have out there, is the 100%, where the donation goes from 30% to 100%, and then of course the instant unlock, which means one of the incentives that you see to your left, you can choose to instantly unlock it, which, looking at these suckers, wow, this could be terrible. This could go really bad. Static has a brand new song called Bioluminescence. He says that it might be a little on the light side. I think it'll be fine, because usually with me and SoundCloud, it's always usually too loud. So if it ends up being too loud, folks, again with SoundCloud, I don't see an option on my side of volume control, which I never really understood the site. Oh wait, haha, never mind, I see it. I'm smart now. Give it a little bit of reduction. Aha, I'm a smart boy. That disguises as a dumb boy. Andrew says, I'm Laura. Your name is Andrew and you're Laura. You're Andrew and Laura both. Well, I'm very happy. Andrew Laura, whatever the last name was. I'm really bad. Andrew Laura Walker. Laura Andrew Walker. Andrew McLaura. Walker. Andrew Laura. Texas Ranger. What's up? Music compared to voice is perfect now. Yay, we have SoundCloud now as an option, I guess. The only thing that's been wrong with me over the past couple of days is that I've been horrifically congested. So that might be what you're hearing. Aside from that, I'm cool. I'm doing pretty well, actually. I feel alright. The congestion just kind of sucks. And I was also, I was up extremely early this morning. My dad took his truck out to get some work done with it, or whatever it was, and he needed a lift home. So I was up extremely early. And then I was in fact battling a little bit with the cats in order to get myself back to sleep a little bit. They've been going a little crazy this morning, and this afternoon, honestly. They know that whenever I'm awake, like whenever I wake up in the morning, that means that it's like food time. So I think they're a little confused because I had to go back to bed, or I went back to bed for a little bit because I was in no way or shape or form in any status to be streaming or doing anything. So, Unleash the Archers with Awakening from Evil Toad, $5 drop. Thank you, brother. Neil, I forget which incentive yours goes to. Please let me know. Evil Toad, 3 incentives to your left. You can use your $5 to support one of those. Let me know what it is. Andrew McLovin. I don't understand why they are trying to do another album. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. It would make more sense to me if they were to, like, just start another band, I think, really. You know, start a new project. At this point, it just seems like they're trying to cash in on the Static X name because, like, who's their singer even? Who's their singer even? Lulu Forever, incentive number 3 from Neil, number 2 from Evil Toad. Evil Toad, thank you very much for the $5 drop. I haven't seen you in a little bit, my friend. On the donation side, I think I saw you. Were you here on Friday? I feel like you were. I feel like that you were, and I feel like I saw it that I don't remember. There's a lot of people here on Friday, so thanks to everybody who came out and hung out and suffered with me. One thing about this afternoon, though, Maru, is that little Blazy, my shadow, I just recently chopped a little bit off of my, I got like a little bit of my, the back of my hair chopped off, I did that shortly after I dropped my dad off. Before I came home, I went up and got the back of it shaped up a little bit. I don't know, I guess it's okay. But as a result, now whenever she's up on my shoulder, and she likes to go from one shoulder to the other, but she's kind of like, she's very confident whenever she's climbing, and she digs in with her claws because she knows that that's the best way to not fall. But that also means that she's kind of a little scared whenever she's on a neck that's always like shifting, because, you know, I'm moving. That's what necks do. So she grips in with her claws, and now that I don't have hair there to sort of block it or provide its own like unique stability, my neck is going to get all scratched up. I'm going to look like somebody just took a damn knife to me or something. I'm loving this static. This is really chill. Did I hear the new Bloodbath? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, you weren't? Okay. Well, that's fine, Evil Toad. I'm glad to see you here today. That's what that's what matters, is the present, dude. I know what you mean by life being extremely busy. That's kind of why videos have been grinded to a bit of a standstill, because recording like days that have been meant to be recording sessions have transformed quickly into, oh wait, I have to do this, this, and this, you know, in actual life. And yeah. So hopefully reviews of the new Haken and Bloodbath are coming. Tomorrow is another day that I can work pretty hard on stuff because I don't foresee anything interfering. I have heard both albums. I listened to both of them Saturday night. I gave them a second run through last night, so tonight I'll give them the third playthrough. And what I can tell you thus far, to sort of maybe spoil the video a little bit, is that the review for the new Haken album is probably not going to be what you expect. Probably not what you're going to expect. Or maybe it will be exactly what you expect, because it's a very interesting album. And usually whenever I say something is interesting, like, that doesn't really quantify that it's like 30 out of 30 or like really, really high up. I usually will be... I usually spoil things and say that something's awesome, but it's not shit, you know? As for the new Bloodbath release, I will spoil the fact that I think it starts off really, really strong, and then as it sort of wears on, it sort of loses its potency a little bit until right at the end. So it's a really, really solid release, but I'm going to see what the third playthrough does for me. The first playthrough, I was in that sort of motive where right at the last couple tracks I was like, okay, this could probably wrap up. And it's like a 46-minute long album, so that's not the greatest thing. But with the second playthrough, I appreciated everything a little bit more, so third playthrough might be the charm, as they say. That was Bioluminescence from our boy in chat there, Static Syndrome. It's good stuff. Well, I reviewed the two Automatas. I reviewed the first one. For the channel, Frank, and I can tell you that the second one is much better. The second one's incredible, actually. Makes the first Automata better by comparison whenever you sort of smush them together. I probably will not give that a review, considering that was back in July. But I can tell you right now that it's in the high 20s. So it's, you know, on my scale, it's kind of a you need this album type release. It's essentially between the Buried and Me, keeping some of their ideas from more recent memory, but also teetering back to some of what they did during the like the Great Misdirect in Colors cycle. So they did some pretty cool stuff with that. I did hear the new Beyond Creation, yes. The new Beyond Creation is pretty decent. They have some really nice ideas on there. There's some pretty cool progression that you get from that album. There's an instrumental on that disc near the end of it that is just incredible. Like, it is honestly the best song on the album. What kind of holds it back is that at times it does feel a little bit like a paint-by-number Beyond Creation album. Like, in the spots where they're not really exploring freely. So they didn't quite go all in with the idea of it becoming a more progressive beast, which they didn't announce that they were going to do. They didn't announce that that was going to be what happened. So, you know, not really much that can be said there. Before we get into Cold Coffee and Cocaine by Prince. We have the €2.29 from Neil. Not from Neil, from Waterblanc, rather, from Marlon. I'm still impressed by this. I have a coupon right now for Speedway. I can get $2.50 off of any size muscle milk. Y'all know I like muscle milk. That's like getting it for like $1.50. No, that's better than that. It's like getting it for like $1. That's an amazing deal. Cannot go wrong with that deal at all. But also, before we get there, I realized that I didn't contribute any songs whatsoever to the Bad Song stream on Friday, which was probably for good reason, considering, good lord, it was that was an experience. If you missed Bad Song stream 2 on Friday, I'm sorry that you probably didn't get to the VOD. See you later, Svetlana. Yes, I did, Andrew. The $4, I did get that, and I already added that. I just need to know which incentive you're supporting in Waterblanc. Yours is still number 1, right? Right? Yeah, your $4 has been added, though, Andrew. That's a big hell yeah. But yeah, I didn't. I need to remember. Okay, Andrew says Lulu, and Waterblanc is number 1. So now we're going to be completely up to date. I'm going to have to see if I remember the title of this song, because it has been quite a while since I've listened to it. In fact, I thought of it last evening whenever I was trying to fall asleep, which is always bad news, because then it's in your mind, and I really, really wanted to listen to it, but I knew I had to get to sleep. It was already like 4 in the morning, so I was already, listen, I was already going to get like next to no sleep. I would have just stayed up, but then I probably would have missed this stream. I don't even know how the fuck you spell this artist. Maybe that'll do it. Yep, it sure did. I'm not sure if this is really a bad song. It kind of is. So before we get into like the actual good stuff, I would like to kind of play this and play my little contribution, I guess, to Bad Song Stream late. I just remember that I was in college, and whenever I would come home, some of my old like high school buddies and some of my wrestling buddies would be singing this little song, like the first part of this little song, this song here, and I was very confused. I didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. And to be fair, like, I'm looking, you know, you look at this, and I don't typically listen to this. In fact, I don't listen to it really at all. One of my friends does, that lives up in Canada. She's a really big fan of this group. So I call this kind of a good bad song, because, well, it's really, really bad, and I don't really, like, it's 4 minutes of my life that I won't be able to get back. It's still kind of good because it stays in your head, and I'm not necessarily like pissed off that I remember it. So this is "Dirty Little Girl" from Twisted. I don't even know. What did I think about the new At the Gates album? It was alright. That's just about it. That's just about it. Hey, what's going on, Paradise? That's the part right there that they kept on repeating. They would just keep doing the "oh shit," and I was like, "What? What's going on? Like, what is this?" Oh, noisy refrigerator drone doom. That was more like every single piece of electronic equipment and like power tool having a simultaneous orgy. It was pretty horrible. It's a horrible song. It's really, really bad. It is really bad. But the thing is that whenever it's 4 in the morning, you're kind of delusional. Oh my god, I forgot about this part. Oh lord. Ow. Does Machine Head still have the worst album of the year? Yeah. Yeah, they do. What country do I live in? The US. No, this is twisted. Like, this is a psychopathic records artist. Like, these guys were signed, and these guys were actually somewhat popular in the 2000s. Not only from juggalos, but by mostly white rap fans that were immature as shit. I wish I could say that this actually predates YouTube. This song was released in 2002, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, so far the new Machine Head is just, oh my god, it's so bad. And I know that there are those in chat that disagree, and that's cool, man. You know? Oh god, I can't even. No, just no. No, just no. We're done. That's enough. That's enough. Might as well just start playing the Great Malenko while painting my face. Christ almighty. Now on to good music. Thank God. Alright, so Cold Coffee and Cocaine from Prince is up first. Again, Andrew, if you have a song request that's under 5 minutes, let me know in chat. I know that you probably did post something and I probably missed it because they don't do whispers on YouTube. They don't do private messages, and that's a real big problem. That's a really big problem, in fact, because yeah.
Cold coffee and cocaine.
Yeah, Catharsis is a big old 3 out of 30. It's a big old piece of crap. Big old piece of doo-doo. Play Lulu again? Oh, were you here on Friday whenever we played Dragon? Sewing with Delendia. Alright. Delenda, rather. Gotcha, brother. Thank you very much. That's going to be up next, actually. We have that. That's why I wanted to know. We have that up next. Then we have Unleash the Archers with Awakening. And Instanzia with Ghosts of the Past. And, hey, OA. My friend, you have a free song that was gifted to you from Waterblanc that you can use. How is Daughtry still a thing? Because people that have a platinum selling record will oftentimes have a career for like 10 years while they shuffle around in futility before they either give up or the record label is like, listen, you suck.
This the last time, baby. I eat over your plate.
Oh, wow.
Last time, baby. I eat over your plate.
I do kind of like the chaotic nature of this piano. Yeah. And also the fact that Prince is like, just that voice. It sounds like a true parody of somebody who is like completely tweaked out. I'm honestly not too surprised that Daughtry's still around because I still saw like advertisements for shows. Now, granted, they were in smaller venues whenever he came to town. Whenever he came to town, he went to a place over in Greensburg. It was the Palace Theater, which sounds like it's like this big old, you know, awesome place. You know, like this should be a like worldwide known or something. It just has that name. It's just a name though. That's all. It seats, I think, like 500 people or something like that. Definitely less than 1,000. I saw Gordon Lightfoot there a couple years back, and it's a beautiful place, great acoustics. I also saw, that's where I saw Lewis Black. No, it wasn't. Craig Ferguson. I need educated on Twisted. They have their own label now, yeah. But they were associated with Psychopathic Records there for a while. They do a lot of metal-inspired rap. Well, I would definitely not know that. I have no idea. Like, that is the one song from them that I know, and it's like the one song of theirs that I listen to. That's about it. New Contrarian is definitely coming, and New Contrarian will definitely be reviewed. One of their members was in the stream on Wednesday and dropped a donation, which was pretty awesome. Like, I was shocked. I was shocked. New Baby Metal might take a little bit of time, considering they did lose a member. I wish I could, like, accurately show you just how fucked my legs are from Blaze. Like, holy crap. Looks like I was in a freaking slasher flick. Or it looks like I have a child that just has, like, knives for fingers. Yeah, you probably did see him in the comment section. I think he commented on the album review that we did, or that I did. I'm going to show you this. You're going to get some CKN leg action. Look at this shit. Look at this. I look like I went one-on-one with like a freaking table saw. Either that or I look like I look like I don't think life is worth living. But, yeah. Yeah, I'm not wearing socks, and I'm regretting that right now because it's freaking cold. But oh well. Yeah, dude. That's all from one. That's all from just one of the kittens, dude. She is a climber, and she's my little shadow, so she climbs me a lot. And she does not care if I'm wearing long pants or shorts. Which in this season, I should be wearing long pants. But at times, whenever the heater's on in here, it gets pretty hot. Like, especially if I happen to be in here doing a stream for, say, 5 hours, and the heat happens to be on, and I don't want to put the AC on because that's just more noise. I ended that stream sweating my tits off. Mario coming in with €3. Lost in Grey, The Wasteland, which is a brand new song. The scars do remind me that the past is real. I can't believe I actually remember the lyrics to that song because I've heard it like... Well, I can't say that I only heard it like... I think I've heard that song in full, like, complete, only like 10 times in my life. Because in most cases, the minute that I heard the intro to it, I turned the station. You don't have winter? You lucky, lucky man. I hate winter. I could sit here and say that I get seasonal depression disorder or seasonal depression, but I'll just put it to you the old-fashioned way. I'm a grumpy motherfucker in winter. Like, you don't want to mess with me in winter. I get grumpy. And hangry. Maru, I'm pretty sure yours goes toward number 1, if I am correct. Why am I wearing shorts in winter? Well, because it was a little bit warm earlier, and whenever I fell asleep, like whenever I went back to bed, it's extremely warm under the covers, so I wore shorts and I just didn't change. I didn't change at all. When it really isn't just a phase and your emo hair starts to bald. Yeah, damn, Cody freaking exposed me. Cody just exposed my ass. Soen is up next with their track, Delenda rather, should I say. Soen's awesome, by the way, in case you don't know. If you don't know that, then now you do. If you don't know who Soen is, you're about to find out, and good God, enjoy. Have a fucking blast. Mario is stuck with number 1. I think I need to turn up the audio a little bit for y'all. Yeah, I definitely do. If it's low in my headphones, whenever it's already supposed to be low, then I know it's low for y'all. I need to remember. I can't remember anything anymore. 342 toward number 1. I'm telling you what, I'm going to regret many, many things probably by the end of Wednesday. Neil going with Jeff Buckley with Mojo Pin live at Chicago. I know I mentioned this in stream before. Again, I can't remember. Rafael Garza, I think is his name. He's the gentleman who plays who played the one ADA on Law and Order Special Victims Unit. Did a cover version of Hallelujah at some like government or like arts dinner type thing, like some pretty prominent, important thing. And it was one of the most beautiful versions I've ever heard in my life. It's one of those like, I'm not crying, you're crying, shut up type thing. Surreption? Oh yeah. Yep, I sure have. They're good. Very, very good stuff. But I remember with Soen, like, this straight up at times sounds like some straight Opeth worship. But they feel very unique. Like, between them and Leprous, like, there's a really, really good European, like, dark prog scene that is emerging that's pretty awesome. And then we also have some other, like, darker prog bands or just prog acts coming back into the fold, like, oh crap. Car Mechanic. About to order their last album in like 3 shirts. Dude, there you go. What I think of Cold Coffee and Cocaine, Neil, that was, what I kind of liked about that song was the fact that it had the frantic nature of both of those drugs, both caffeine and cocaine. Aside from that, like, it felt like more of just a, like, I can understand why that sort of was buried in the vaults for a long time, because it's not remarkable. It's just kind of fun. You know, it's just kind of a fun thing. 383 heading toward Lulu. But yeah, there's a really awesome scene that's emerging over in Europe in the dark, like the dark prog department, which is honestly, like, stuff like this is really, it's great because it sort of reminds you a little bit of Catatonia. It has a little bit of heaviness. It's just really good stuff. Well, that's what's really cool about that, Evil Toad, is that if you meet somebody that really enjoys trying to sort of decipher lyricism or really enjoys writing, rock and metal is a great place for them to kind of go to town, considering, and especially progressive music, as well as like avant-garde or just, you know, any sort of even like weird death metal or things like that. You can find a lot there, a lot of substance. Pop music, you're kind of getting the same ideas and same like crap over and over again. Like, you just look at something, this is about partying, this is about love lost, this is about wanting to be in love, this is about wanting to fuck a bunch of ladies that are in a club, you know, this is about be happy about yourself, this is about how fat people are really, really great, but actually it's a parody of all of that because I didn't like myself as a fat person, so I made myself skinny, but I still made the song to make them feel good about themselves, but it was a sellout piece of garbage. Not metal, but heard Cody Jinks hand-me-down the other day, and it was great. Check it out when you can. Love your channel. Hey, Jeff is Raw 2000. We will play it. That sounds like a song request to me, and I am down for playing that. $5. Hey, Jeff, which of the 3 incentives that you see to your left would you like that $5 to support? Do let me know. Bliss and thanks. Soen is awesome, so if you that was your first exposure to Soen, then I hope that you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed. Here's another song from a band that some of you may know, others may not. That's why I like these streams, because you might know these groups, you might not know these groups. You might find something brand new that you want to listen the heck out of because of these streams. So here's Awakening from the band Unleash the Archers. Most of you are probably familiar with them, but for those who maybe aren't, this is your first exposure. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. After this word from Instant Family, the movie that looks, honestly, underwhelming. They went to adopt one kid and got 2 more along with them. Ooh boy. Mark Wahlberg is family man again. Anyway. Very good description of lyrics. Let me just say, I am... You really got into prog because of the channel? Evil Toad. I really want to thank you because, hey, you watch the stuff. Nobody watched the stuff. It'd still be out there on the internet, but I just feel a little bit more sad inside. So viewers like you and everybody else here, I really appreciate you guys sticking by for 10 years plus. And believe me, our numbers are a lot fewer these days. Partially because I don't post nearly as much, and also partially because people in 2018 are freaking weird, man. Like, do you understand the people in 2018? Like, take a look at your friend base and think about all of the friends that you had that have changed in just the last, like, 12 to 18 months. Think of friends that you've lost in the 12 to 18 month period. And it's all because of stupid stuff. Well, those of you in Europe, maybe not. Actually, those of y'all who are in Europe are probably just, like, laughing at me like, look at dumbass Americans. Dude, you're right. That's a fair criticism. That's a real fucking fair criticism, man. Our country's weird and dumb, and our people are not much better. For those of y'all who maybe follow the news, Pittsburgh, which is about 45 to 50 miles to my north and to my west, it's really the biggest city close to me. So it takes about an hour to get there. It's shorter for me to get to Morgantown, West Virginia, which is building into a big city, but it's nowhere the size of Pittsburgh. So anyway, I'll get off of geography. There's just another mass shooting in a synagogue in a Pittsburgh suburb on Saturday. 11 people died. And not a single one of the people who died was under the age of 55 years old, I think. I'd have to relook at the list. The oldest person who was shot by this coward was 97 years old and was a Holocaust survivor. Jeff's going toward number 1. Good selection, my friend. 30 videos for 30 fans is exciting. It's something that I've had on these streams as incentives for a long time. It's always been pretty expensive because it's, well, it'd be a whole heck of a lot of work. Believe you me. And plus, whenever you think about it, Video Mania, which is going to be our next stream cycle, which is going to start in about, I want to say like 2 weeks maybe a little less time than that. It's not going to start immediately whenever the calendar flips to November. I'm going to take a little bit of time to, you know, get myself settled. Video Mania is going to have 30 different video options for y'all to bid on, essentially. Each one of them is going to be $100, and I'm going to try to find a way to put them over there on that left-hand part of the screen or do something. Make it look like a goddamn Chinese menu for y'all. So instead of it being, we get to $100 and the video gets unlocked and then you see what the next one is, you're going to see all of them. You're going to see each and every last video that's available, and you guys can go to town. There'll be probably a couple that will be like a viewer's request or like something that's a little bit more interactive and fun. There will be incentives for a couple of giveaways. Probably not as many this time around. But what I think I'll probably go back to doing is having the secret incentives where if we hit a certain total amount, it'll unlock something. What do I think about the band Hinder? Not a huge fan. The best version, though, and I'm going to be honest with you, the best version of Lips of an Angel I've ever heard. I was in college at the time, my last year of college, so it was like 2007. And a boys quartet from the Frostburg State University of Maryland chapter of Phi Mu Alpha did an a cappella version of that, almost like a barbershop quartet. It was amazing. It was amazing. Gave me chills. And that song doesn't give me chills. You know, like, I listen to that song and I'm just like, okay, it's, you know, rock ballad. Kind of put it on the same level as The Reason by Hoobastank, which I hate. Like, I just despise that song. I think it's terrible. And these guys just basically made it amazing, you know? It's kind of like I say, like listening to the Rafael Garza version of Hallelujah. I did not expect... Raul Esparza, my bad. Version of Hallelujah. Didn't expect it to be as good as it was. Didn't expect to get emotional. Listen, music doesn't affect you emotionally. You're doing it wrong, and you're the poser. Just saying. Just saying. Tweeted that. I bet you there's a lot of people that didn't like that. Probably a lot of people hit that unsubscribe button because of it. But you know what? Cowards. But anyway, yeah, Hinder, I have a couple of the albums that were for sale in the CD sale, but I do believe I have a buyer for those. One of my old friends, she now lives in Kentucky, and saw that I had those available, and we were talking on the phone the other night, and she had mentioned that she may want those. So, Brittany, if you happen to be hanging out in chat, call me, girl. You know, just have to wait, just waiting on payment. That way I can get it in the mail. What do I think of Puddle of Mud? I had big high hopes for Puddle of Mud from their singles off of Come Clean. I listened to that with one of my, like, oldest friends in the fraternity that I'm in Phi Mu Alpha, Brian Shifty O'Neill, and we came to the same conclusion. The singles are great, the rest of the album, pure garbage. Pure garbage. And she fucking hates me is essentially a meme song before memes. You know, it's not really good. It just is really catchy. And everybody can kind of relate to it. Like, it's a very relatable song as opposed to being a good song. Lips of an Angel is literally the worst written love song by a popular band. I don't know. I would have to contend with The Reason by, like I said, The Reason by Hoobastank is just, like, it's cute. I get it. A lot of couples want little cute songs for one another, and it makes them smile, makes them want to do little kissy faces, you know. It's not a song you're going to get randy to, or it's not a song that you're going to, you know, listen, if you're birthing children to The Reason by Hoobastank, them kids are going to come out retarded. And I will straight up sound like a gangsta that just used poor English. That way they can understand. I will dumb my own speech to their level so they understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. Here's another thing for you, and I'm just going to get it out of the way. That way we can move on. This is my political statement of the day. To all the active shooters that are out there, if you're planning to be an active shooter, if you've been an active shooter in the past, living or deceased, or if you, you know, one day just feel real sad and decide you want to kill a bunch of people, you're killing the wrong people. Have a little bit of patience. Go to a political rally, specifically one that involves some of the leadership that's in this country right now, and then go to town. Am I encouraging assassinations? At this point, yeah, kinda. Because I'm going to tell you this. Killing just regular people, you know, casual, middle class, or lower class Americans, that's not going to be remembered. All that does is reboot the debate that just keeps on going, keeps the people distracted for a little while, and then nothing's actually done. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see some of these things. But yet, people are instantaneously spun into the wheel and affected the exact same way. And one more thing before I go and we get back to the music, because I know that Waterblanc would love to hear his track, and I would love to hear it too, because I actually don't know Instanzia. So Ghosts of the Past, I'm real interested in this. But if you're going to be somebody who's going to bellyache on social media about everything, if you're going to be one on social media that's going to bellyache about how things are being handled or whatever, here's a little tip for you. A little tipperoo from your boy. Don't just yell about it, do something about it. Be a doer, don't be a sayer. Mostly because if you're just a sayer, then whenever nothing is done and you just complain about it, people can say to you, well, what have you done? Well, I've instilled a lot of information and I've told people and blah, blah, blah. Listen, that's not what gets shit done. I can tell you, and this is a great example, listen, I can tell you to listen to Instanzia, without playing this song. I could tell you to do that. I could say, listen to this band. They're great. They're really, really good. And I know that some of you will do that because, I don't know, I have this reputation of sometimes being right. Maybe that's what it is. Or maybe it's just because you want to sample a new band. Could be something just that simple. And I like that. I appreciate that. And I have a lot of respect for that. But I will probably get a lot more of you into the band, or, Marlon, you will probably get a lot more people into the band by producing that request and having me play it in chat. There's a better chance that since all 20 or so of you will be listening to it, you'll know what the band's about. You'll know whether or not you want to pursue them more. By doing something instead of just saying it, there's a better chance that more people get on board. There's a better chance that more people check something out or want to be a part of it. Don't just be a sayer, be a doer. If you think that it's really, really sad that they hired somebody, they cast somebody of this designation or this distinction or not of this designation or distinction in a movie, write a letter, type an email. Don't just complain about it on social media and hope to get a horde of followers that way. Whenever this whole tide passes, you will be left with nobody. Because maybe the album reviewing thing on YouTube, maybe that tide has passed. Maybe that's why numbers are dwindling. Nothing lasts forever. The only things that last forever is hatred and love. And both of those don't last forever either. The reason why hatred seems to last forever is because we always seem to see it. It's always in the headlines. And if these people die, then it does last forever for them. The reason why love lasts forever is not because the relationship that you're in is going to be the one that you're in until you're dead. Just the concept, the idea. Ideas, emotions, those last because it's a reaction that we have. It's something very human. It's internal. It's instinct. But little clicks, little moods, little movements, little sections of society. Look at the hippies. Look at the hippies, late 60s to the first part of the 70s. Are they still hippies today? Some of them are. Probably about 5%, maybe 10%. 90% of them? Nope. 90% of them moved on, became boring middle class, really cranky, really freaking upset. They became very health conscious. They became very conscious of their own mortality. So what do you think is going to happen in 5 years? What do you think is going to happen by 2025? Do you think that this little movement will still be here? No, it won't be. This is temporary. A lot of people saying things is temporary. A lot of people doing things is permanent. Here's Instanzia with Ghosts of the Past, finally. I apologize for that going a little longer than I wanted. So hi everybody. One person just said CMT Productions 2018 Mum Gay. Oh no, it's okay. How'd I get the holes in my forehead? I got shot 17 times, and I still lived. I got shot by chicken pox, and I scratched them. But you know what these holes are filled up? They're filled with freedom! Damn it. I think I'll review the new Architects album. Mitchell, actually, I've had a request to do that from the label, so probably. Bring me the horizon with Chelsea Smile. The $2. The $2 make ya holla. So, where's that $2 heading toward Metal Fury? Which of the three? Listen, I'm just a warrior of the world. Mayhem is overrated. I have to kind of disagree with that, Scott, only because Mayhem has sort of reinvented their sound a couple of times. So I think that's where I have a little bit more of appreciation for them, or why I have appreciation for them in the first place, and don't feel that they're really overrated, because that was a kind of a leap of faith they took. I don't really know if the folks that were loving the piss out of Demysterious are the same ones that are going to feel similarly about Esoteric Warfare. Pilots is painfully overrated. Oh, that reminds me. I need to look something up real fast. Please give me a moment here. I was told that their new album was going to break records. They were going to break sales records. I actually did not look to see how their album did, so I don't remember seeing any like press releases or anything like that. But I could be wrong. You know, I've missed a lot of things. Critical acclaim, that's a good start. Ooh, not even #1 on the Billboard 200. #2 though, behind the soundtrack for A Star Is Born. But they did have 135,000 pure album sales. Feel like that might have been really helped out if a lot more people streamed it. But you know what? Not bad. Not bad. I reached down 76. How you doing? Hi, Anthony. Most of pop is overrated. Yeah. But that's alright. A lot of it is overrated only because it's overplayed. But one thing I will say is that if you listen to a pop album, which I had to do quite a bit, like I had to do that kind of frequently whenever I was working at the music store I worked at for 5.5 years. You will sometimes find that there are actually like 1 or 2 songs on those albums that you might actually like a little bit. Reach Down, I'm doing okay. I can't really complain, my man. I mean, I could, but nobody would listen. 21 Pilots have improved a lot in their sound. That's kind of what I was. I kind of am getting that impression from some folks. No, this is not Blind Guardian. This is Instancia. As that song right there, Ghosts of the Past. Very, very good power metal song. You're talking about experience as well. Most adults hate them. Yeah. Probably. That sounds like a generational thing, though. Do I listen to King's X? Oh, yeah. Gretchen goes to Nebraska, man. I'm old school. You listen to Spock's Beard Reach Down? Another really, really good project. Oh, shit. This thing does not want me to play Mario's Request. It really wanted me to play Fairyland. Really wanted me to play Fairyland, score to A New Beginning. Which is death power metal. Not deaf like you can't hear it, like deaf like definitely. Lost in Grey with the Wasteland. This is a brand new song from Lost in Grey. This was released 3 days ago and has a whopping 839 views. That's pathetic. I'm going to post the link for this song in chat so we can get this a little bit more in the way of views. So yeah, it will go from 839 to like 859. I had never heard of them either, Dawson K, so I'm interested in listening to some more. What do I think about Ty Tabler's solo stuff? I haven't listened to a ton of it. And it was a long time ago whenever I did, like in the middle of the 2000s. So, my opinion on that is that I really don't have one because I don't remember it well. I honestly don't remember it well. Rage, huh? You're a Rage fan, eh? I may have to shift up one of the albums because I still haven't sent those. I'm a shithead. But, oh wait, no, I think I already sold that one. Shit. Oh, no. Did I already sell that? I actually can't tell. I actually cannot. Yeah, I did. Oh, and it's the wrong band anyway. I don't have a Rage album. I have a Riot album. God fucking damn it. I'm dumb. Why am I a dum-dum? The Metalhead box is not shipped from me. The Metalhead box is shipped from them. So if you, I haven't gotten the Metalhead box for this month yet either. And there's a good chance that you might get the one that ships in November. What was I doing? Anyway, had another request there from Waterblom. But yeah, I meant to get the box for this month as well, and I haven't gotten that yet. I probably won't see that until the first week of November. Ship out day is usually pretty late in the month. But €229 for Rage's War of Words. Or is that Worlds? War of Worlds, rather. But yeah, that should be, that gets shipped out from them. All I needed your info for was to get the right shipping address. Band Rapture is very underrated. I listened to 2 of their albums. They actually had a pretty damn good debut. So I might be prone to agree with you. They didn't get the attention that they should have. And I think that it was because of poor marketing. Matter Mortem is kind of in that same category. Do I know why Post Malone appeals to some metalheads? No, I don't. I have no idea. Apex Predator may in fact be their best album of the modern Napalm Death, because that album was terrific. That album was amazing. Going back to Scum, I really love it. I wonder if anybody would actually say, shit. Now I can't remember the album's name. Crap! Shoot. Right in the middle of the 90s. Their transitional album. Piss! Oh well. Can't remember. I'm going to take a short little break, actually. Here for just a couple of minutes. I need to get another beverageo. But whenever we come back, we're going to have some Jeff Buckley, some Cody Jinks, Bring Me the Horizon, and Rage. But for right now, you prompted me with Rapture. Actually, no. Whenever you mentioned Rapture, it reminded me of another band, Eyes of Fire, which was another one of these like kind of hybrid groups that had some really awesome slow material, like very melancholy, almost like Catatonia-ish material, and then they had aggressive stuff, like they were a band that was sort of producing both. They didn't select a persona and stay with it, and I think that was part of why they didn't get very big. But they had a great song off of Ashes to Embers, which I believe is either their debut or their major label debut, because it was on Century Media Records. The song is called The End Result of Falling. I may have played this on stream before, but I hope you guys enjoy this while I'm on break. I will return momentarily. I'm going to make sure that there's going to be an ad here, of course. Liberty, 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 mutual. Jesus Christ. Shut up, man. I don't care. I'll return momentarily, folks. tractor trailer over the weekend that all it was doing was blowing its damn horn here, where there's you know, just people that may have wanted to do things like live, record, not hear ridiculous noise. Now that's just annoying. Why would I do that to myself? Oh wait, I forgot that open. Well, that'll be a fun thing for me to discover, like, in a week. Fuck it, might as well just do it again. Whee! That one was worse. Foo Fighters are getting to be kind of predictable, unfortunately. I really loved Wasting Light. I love that album. I thought that album was really good. It was exactly what it said it was going to be. It sounded like a garage rock album. And for good reason. Mojo Pin from Jeff Buckley. This is from Live in Chicago. So it's going to be a little different than the studio version. No doubt this specific version has been requested due to more emotional or more emotionality. As a result, it might be also a little bit lower. I don't know about there's music up your ass because of your autocorrect. I did miss that. That's pretty funny. Maybe I should just play some Nas in stream, considering my freaking phone keeps on autocorrecting bad to Nas. So, you know, that's pretty funny. That's pretty good. Humble display of kindness. PC display of love. Oh man. So plan is to go till about 7 o'clock, so for about 2 more hours, and then that will be Skeptic's Universe. Yes, I am. It's a very, very strong album. It was the first album from Spiral Architect that I listened to, and I liked it a lot. Spiral Architect, of course, got their name from the Black Sabbath song of the same name. It's a little piece of trivia from them. They recently came back too. They were MIA for a while. They're basically today's Bon Jovi. See you later, Cody. Have yourself a good one, man. I wouldn't say they're today's Bon Jovi. I don't think they're that bad. I don't think they're that bad at all. Because remember, Bon Jovi is still active, and they're making like really, really dull dad rock. How I think SJWs would react to death metal? I bet you half of them low-key listen to death metal. I bet you half of them low-key listen to death metal and think it's quaint or cute. Except for those that are like real hardcore into like objectification and stuff. They'd probably listen to Cannibal Corpse and cry, yell, write blog posts, make YouTube videos. Yeah, Spiral Architect, if I remember correctly, I think they released an album a couple years ago. I didn't even have to double check my facts on that. But I seem to remember Spiral Architect reactivating. Oh, no, didn't happen. There were talks. That's why I remember that. There were talks of them were coming back and it never did happen. So, unfortunately. And actually, here's another funny piece of fact. Lars stated that the name is unrelated to the Black Sabbath song. So, once again, funny double piece of info right there. But yeah, there was a second album that was supposed to happen, and the band broke up. And then in the middle of the 2000s, there were talks about trying to reactivate the project, get it done, but nope. I don't mind the word quaint. I use it, but that's the thing. Like, I use it correctly in conversation. You know, I would not really describe music as quaint. Like, describing music or even, like, most art as quaint sounds more insulting than positive. And also, the fact that Jeff Buckley died is a tragedy. I know it's been 20 years plus, but whenever you listen to Buckley's material and realize what he could have been and what we could have maybe gotten from him, especially whenever you consider the 90s. Whenever you consider the diversity of the rock scene in the 1990s, Buckley would have been, and was, rightfully massive whenever he was out, but he could have been even bigger, and really his legend grew after his death. Yeah, that was the thing about Sonic Highways that disappointed me, was there were some really good songs on there, but they were outlined and sort of sandwiched in between really subpar songs that felt like they were hastily written. And then I heard some of the stuff off of Concrete and Gold, and it was the same situation, where the good songs were the ones that... It seemed like some of their songs got a lot more attention in the recording process and writing process than others. A windy PayPal alert from Maru has come. Are we going to be spinning the prize wheel again? We are. Not the prize wheel, the... you know what I mean. And you know the funny thing is, Evil Toad? You believed every single no, 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 nah, 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 yeah, yeah. You felt the emotion and you believed it. Like, you bought into it. Goku's in the building. Hunt or be hunted from Soul Calibur 6. I have a song of yours to play, Goku, so I will get to the Halo theme. Alma with Cowboy, Deadhead Finland by with War Forevermore and Trees of Eternity with Gallows Bird from Maru, who said that she is stuck like glue to #1. So my question to you is not what incentive it's going to. No, you're not. I hate that commercial. You know who I really hate? Like, legitimately, whenever it comes to commercials, do you want to know who I loathe? The Verizon commercials that have that elitist-sounding prick that's talking about Verizon phones. I hate him. I loathe him. I want him to suffer. Been working the past few days on Soul Calibur 6 character creation. Whatever you do, don't make me. I'll lose every fight. I'm not very bulky. I'm not very muscular. Kenny Omega, I am not. Kenny Omega, I am not. Far from. Up next, we have Cody Jinks with Hand Me Down. I'm unfamiliar with this, so I don't know what this is. This is from Jeff is Raw 2000. I like your avatar. Are you in the army, sir, or is it just something that you support? If you're still here, even. I hope that you're still here. This is Hand Me Down from Cody Jinks. This looks like... actually, it looks like it might be a little country. This might be pretty cool. You know what? I would really, really like this if this happened to be like some outlaw country, because I like Chris Stapleton. And I would like to be able to say other artists' names whenever I try to support the argument that there is some country that I like. And so far, I have basically 2 names from the modern scene. I have Stapleton and I have Sturgill Simpson. I obviously don't explore the genre very much, so that's part of it. But if this is a little bit of country, this could be really cool.
With Switch, he can stream all the games he wants
I don't care. Boost Mobile. The commercials are at least not as annoying, but even still. Funny story about cell phones. I actually have one from yesterday. And I actually have a pretty funny joke from yesterday as well. You made Maximilian? Nice. There you go. Oh, you know what? Zac Brown's not bad either. I really hated their first single. I hated Chicken Fried, but I feel like that just got them on the... Alright. Now we're talking, brother. Now we're fucking talking, brother. Alright, alright. Alright. Digging. Very cool, Jeff. Appreciate it, brother. My dad, yesterday I was over there hanging with him. We were watching the Steeler game and the Martinsville race, and he was on this like big ol' like tangent about how we should go and upgrade mine and my mother's phones to the Google Pixel 3, because he has a Pixel 2 and just like cradles that thing like a child. He loves it, and it's kind of disgusting. But Dad, if you're in chat, this is going to be really funny. But they had like a buy one get one promotion going on. I'm like, wow. So that means you're paying full price for one of them and getting the other for free. It's not a bad deal. What's the price on the phone? He's like, you know what? I actually don't know. So an ad for this deal came on the television. I said, bro, that phone is $800. You want to pay $800 for a cell phone just to get another one for free? He gave me this look like, no, keep that thing you have now. Do I like hell yeah? Hell kinda. Some of the stuff's okay. Some of it is pretty subpar. You know, they had a very up and down career. They had a very up and down career, really. No, this is Hand Me Down by Cody Jinks. That I need to put this on my list. I need to listen to this album because this sounds freaking awesome. I love it. This is Cody Jinks with Hand Me Down. It almost sounds like indie country. Because don't you hear like that little indie soul in this? That independent soul in this? Like this could almost be done by an indie band that's trying to do a like a western sound. Elijah, dude, it has been a while. Did you have to make a new name? Did you get banned on YouTube? As Star Wars has been further tainted by a part of its fan base recently. I just know that their fan base right now is really super toxic, and really the fan base for the MCU is no better. A lot of the fan base of the MCU, oh my god. All of my superheroes didn't win at the end of the movie. Cry, cry, I'm sad. There's a part 2 where they're going to come back and win. Come on. Watch a little bit of professional wrestling. Know that you have to have your hero on his heels before the turn happens. This is why there's 3 acts to that. It's a total 6-act show, but it really can be seen as a 3-act picture. First act, we have our setup and we have the fear. The second act, we have the action, the death, and then the eventual turn where everyone's able to come back and band together or whatever. And then the third act fight. Huge big thing happens and villain destroyed. Done. Easy. I just got a new phone, dude. Congratulations, man. What kind of phone did you get, my man? I mean, a little bit of pro wrestling here. Simple. And really, you can apply that to, you can apply that very easily to film, because film oftentimes likes the 3-act structure. The 3-act structure is kind of an easy thing to do. Not to mention, it's the most concrete. Because you have to have a setup, you have to have a middle, and you have to have an end. That was awesome. I like that a lot. I don't know if Jeff is Raw 2000 is still hanging with us in chat. But if you are, thank you very much for that request. That was super cool. If you're not, then thanks for that request. It was super cool. What else can I say? We have to spin the wheel. That's what I have to say. We have to spin the wheel. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now while I'm thinking about it. And I need to get the information handy and track things on my end. So let's go ahead and spin this wheel. Let's see what it ends up being. We still have 2 big prizes left on the wheel. We have the instant unlock and we have the 100% multiplier. We spin the wheel. You can see the wheel and not me. Probably a sight for sore eyes. Oh, that instant unlock. Oh, God. Keep going. Big bucks, no whammies. 30%. Nice. Well, I'm telling you what's going to happen. What's going to happen is that somebody on Wednesday is going to drop a ridiculous amount. It's going to be a big amount because, remember, I saw this in a dream. I saw this in a dream like a week and a half ago. And that's going to be the one that hits the 100%. I don't have any problem with that. My pocketbook might. Did I hear about Roman Reigns having, yeah, he has leukemia. He had to drop the Universal Championship. Oh, wow. You guys can see what I see. There's a little behind-the-scenes tour right there. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you caught it. If you didn't, I apologize. So, 30%, it's about, you know, it's what it usually is. Not a problem. Not a problemo. So far, we've had, as far as magnifiers are concerned, we've had 1 of them. So we're getting down to where the enhancers are getting to be just about what remains. So we've had some interesting luck whenever it comes to the multiplier wheel. I don't know if I don't think it's going to be returning for Video Mania. I don't think it's going to be returning for Video Mania. But yeah, the whole thing with Roman having leukemia is that, you know, I try to be a little bit in the know whenever it comes to wrestling because it's been something that's interested me for a long time. Here's Chelsea's Smile by Bring Me the Horizon, by the way, in the background. I had no idea. Like, that was something where I thought to myself, I would know that he suffered from that 11 years ago, or like maybe I hadn't paid too close of an attention to like the personal life section of like a profile or a bio or something like that. But either way, it did came up. Whenever it came up, it was quite a surprise. And obviously, regardless of what I have said about his character, his gimmick, how he's being pushed by WWE down, you know, people's throats and stuff. Ever since he got the title, he's done some really good work, and he was doing some great work before then. Like, he had a really good 2017 with the matchups he had with like AJ Styles and Braun. So even I have to kind of admit that, you know, I can be critical about his character stuff, but whenever it comes to the person, I don't want the dude to die. I want the dude to do what he loves. You know, I want him to kick this thing's ass and come back. And he's going to be. And the thing is that everybody that's yelling to turn him heel can't do that now. Instant babyface. Instant babyface. So, there you go. That's all I'll say about that. Definitely sending a metalhead strength over to that brother. That way he can fight a disease that can be really crippling. And, you know, obviously we've donated, jeez, like over $1,500 in the past 2 years to a cancer fund. So, yeah, The Ocean does have a brand new album coming out this week. So far, the singles I've heard from have been sick. It's been really good. You love that they turned Ambrose heel? That was not supposed to happen that quickly. But they actually, I think I know what happened there. They cashed in on the emotion of the night. So they made that Raw really, really memorable. So that was actually a really smart move on their part. I know that some folks say that's really fucked up, you know, because we just learned that Roman had leukemia and they should be banding together and they just won the tag titles and yak, yak, yak. No, that's when you do it. That is when you do it. They can't do Brock and Roman anymore. They can't do Brock and Roman at 35. Roman might be out for 2 to 3 years because of leukemia. So, yeah, WrestleMania 35 will not be Brock versus Roman. I don't know, to me this is just okay. Like, it's listenable, but nothing magnificent. But, right now what the plan's looking like, or at least what would make the most sense, considering they have Braun back as a face, and I don't think Brock is going to be sticking around for very long. I think he is going to be going back to the Octagon for a bit, and maybe making sporadic appearances. I would be more, if I were you, I would look more closely to the Seth and Dean rivalry going long term, and then eventually, like maybe at Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber, or I'd say somewhere in 2019 is where you'll probably see Seth or Dean, one of the two, get the title, probably through some chicanery. And then I would expect to see Seth and Dean at WrestleMania, which doesn't make a lot of sense because I think Braun's actually going to be the title holder whenever Crown Jewel goes off the air. But I kind of hope that they don't do that, only because Braun's a guy who should get the title and hold it for a long time. He is honestly a guy who should hold on to that title for, like, I wouldn't say like a whole year, but maybe parts of a year within 2 title reigns. Like, you have to have a surprise where Braun gets beat. Usually by some form of shenanigan. If Batista comes back, I think he'll get a warmer reception than he did the first time around. But also, I know that he's very, very tight with Gunn, and with Gunn's announcement that he's going to be potentially directing the next Suicide Squad movie, Batista wants in that. Batista wants in that. Buffering. That must be on YouTube's side, because on OBS side, oh, I did drop some frames. Not very many though. Okay, that's fine. It happens. Would Ivan Moody survive on WWE? No, he would not. Still says the output is low on the YouTube side. I'm going to be better off now. Should hopefully be better off right now. Yeah, it's a weird situation that WWE finds themselves in right now because of the fact that it's not ideal. You know? What would have been ideal would be for Roman to retain in the triple threat, because it makes him look better. It makes him look better, and it would have been great for the title reign. But of course, with the situation being the way that it is, they have to really think on the fly. So it's very similar, actually, to whenever Seth suffered his knee injury. Whenever he held the title after winning it at Mania, you know, in that real dramatic cash-in, he had they had to really scramble, and of course the plan, what they wanted to do, is to have Roman win, but the reaction that was got from him, like, going through the rounds and doing very well, and looking like the winner, was so kind of negative. And then I got the pay-per-view itself, like, the mood kind of turned a little bit. Like, the mood sort of turned a little bit, and so they honestly did the right thing in having Sheamus come out and cash in. But they just had and I like Sheamus, especially in the bar. I think that they're a good tag team, although it's getting a little tired. Oh, god damn it, I just fucked up. It's getting a little tired, you know, it's basically just being the Bar versus the New Day. They really need to build up some new tag teams. You know, right now, one of the best things that they could do is also one of the worst things that they would do for NXT. War of Words by Rage up next, by the way, just to toss that little nugget out there. Would be to bring up the Undisputed Era. If anybody should take the title off of Styles, it should be Almas. They ruined Samoa Joe. I don't think they ruined Samoa Joe at all. I don't think that they did at all. They had amazing matchups. They had amazing matchups. I think what they wanted, they want Styles' reign to go to a year. At the very, they wanted to go to a year, and then who they get to take that from him is going to be, again, a very interesting choice. I thought that Samoa Joe would have been a really good choice. But here's the reason why I don't think they pulled the trigger on Joe or Shinsuke. And I think it's been proven with Shinsuke and Joe both. They didn't know where they wanted to go afterward. They had no long-term plan for a title change, so they didn't pull the trigger on it. Whereas they could have easily gotten another month's worth of material out of the rematch, and then you shift maybe AJ into the dream match with Bryan, and then have Bryan maybe beat Styles and then go after Samoa Joe. There were options with Samoa Joe. I'm not as sure that there were options with Shinsuke, and you see how they're treating him even though he's the U.S. champion. He's the U.S. champ, but you wouldn't know that. You really wouldn't know that from the amount of times that he's defended it. Randy Orton was the champion before that, or Jeff Hardy, one of the two. I think it was Hardy, actually. And the rivalry that he has with Randy Orton is more prominent in, on the television show and everything like that. Shinsuke's just kind of left there like, did you forget about me? What the fuck? I'm the dude that kicks really hard. Well, the bar's going to be split up eventually because Sheamus has some pretty bad, long-term injuries. Neil Childs has Alice in Chains' Junkhead, which was requested a while ago. I apologize. I agree, it's one of the best yeahs of all time. One that I've oftentimes in the car tried to replicate myself. And I'll be honest with you, I hurt my voice doing that, oftentimes. And I'm usually, done singing for the day. Because, fuck me. I'm not Lane Staley. You cannot summon the strength of the Lane. And I know, Neil, that yours goes heavy toward Ludu. Hey, we're $7.70 away from $1,000. That's amazing. That's amazing, folks. Absolutely incredible. Wasn't one of them going to a different company? The one thing that I kind of don't like is the rumors that I'm hearing about Cody and the Bucks going to WWE. I mean, they have kind of done all that they can do on the indies. Don't get me wrong. They've made their impression, they've made their mark. But I'll be honest with you, I really don't like what I have seen out of what WWE does with extremely talented extremely talented units and things like that. AJ, of course, comes in and he has the reputation. He's a workhorse and he's a deserving person to have the SmackDown Championship, to have the world title. But he's a solo wrestler. He's a solo performer. Their treatment of groups is not that great. But here's the one thing that I do see. Here's the one thing that I do see. Oh, Chris Barnes is, listen, Chris Barnes is super chill. It's just the music is really bad lately. But anyway, the one thing that I could see them doing, if they were smart, have Cody and the Bucks go up against the Undisputed Era because, of course, in being the Elite, they killed off Adam Cole. They killed off Adam Cole. So, I mean, that's natural. Just fucking book the match. There it is. But probably won't happen. And honestly, if they throw the Bucks and Cody at on NXT, wow, NXT ticket sales would go up. Evil Toad, Black Crown Initiate for the Wreckage of Stars. I have some spare money. Why not get you to $1,000 and send it to please? Well, thank you very much, Evil Toad. I appreciate that. We've hit $1,000 on the nose. Wow. Wee wowie wowzers. Let's get a comma in there. It's off the screen. Oh no. That's all right. And anybody out there who wants me to listen to that whole album worth of garbage, that album worth of whatever that was, Electronics Dying, $5,000. Yeah, I'll do it. You see your boss maybe once a week. I'll be honest with you, whenever I work at the tax office, like the actual owner, I see him once a year. And that's whenever we have our party at the end of the season. The D-Generation X theme requested by Mr. Goku. Goku in the Hizzle for Shizzle. We still do have a song of his to play. We'll get that whenever we get to, well, we're actually there. So, before we get to Hunter Be Hunted from Soul Calibur 3, we have the Halo Combat Evolved theme. This was requested a little while ago. I think it was last Monday, in fact, during the absolute abortion of a stream that was that, thanks to blown fuses and General Electric issues. Not issues with General Electric, the company. Unless, of course, they made the fuse box, then fuck them. Retards. Volja Michelle, what's going on? Yeah, but it is going to be DX versus the Brothers of Destruction. Also, some fresh news from Crown Jewel is that John Cena will not make the trip. So his spot in the World Cup, the WWE Crown Jewel World Cup, or whatever the hell they're calling it, rumored is going to be filled by Bobby Lashley, who I'm extremely surprised isn't making the trip. But also Daniel Bryan is reportedly not going to go to Crown Jewel and doesn't want to touch that thing with a 10,000-mile pole. So do not be surprised if tomorrow night on SmackDown they do something to write him out of that match and insert somebody else in. My guess would probably be The Miz. Keeps breaking off. Probably on my side. There was a little bit of problems on YouTube's end. Like right now I'm at 30 FPS, which is perfect. I haven't dropped a single frame, so that's probably on the YouTube side. So my upload is fine. Their download might be a little weak. And what, I actually kind of noticed this a little bit earlier on Twitch as well, where I was trying to play through a VOD, video on demand, and whenever I hit the pause button, the gigantic play button would come up over the top of the video, and the video would freeze, as you're supposed to with pause, but the audio would keep going. So it was very weird. Hi, Tim. What's going on, brother? Have I played any of the WWE video games? I haven't played a WWE video game since, 2004? Like, I played the ones for the N64, and then I got one for the GameCube, but I hated it, so I ended up returning it. I forget what that game was even called. Is that like X8? No, it wasn't X8. Oh, maybe it was. I don't remember. All I remember was a GameCube game, and it sucked. It's really bad. So, I haven't played any of the new ones. Johnny Depp is fired from the Pirates of the Caribbean. I thought Johnny Depp said that he was not going to, like, he made the decision not to be a part of that. I didn't think that was, he was fired. But honestly, I'll be really frank with you, Mango. The project that they're talking about, I think, is a reboot. And the way that Disney's been going with James Gunn and everything like that, if I were Johnny Depp, I wouldn't want to touch that thing. I would not want to touch that thing. Hunter be Hunted from Soul Calibur 6. Requested by the always reliable Goku. That might have been WrestleMania X8. I thought it had like some like 3-word title or something like that, but it very well could have just been X8. Good, he can make tours with Hollywood vampires. Love the channel. Hey man, I love you loving the channel. Appreciate it. We have a lot of Andys in this community, and we have Andrews and Andys, and I like it. Everywhere, it's everywhere. Johnny Depp has been fired. Well, I'll be honest. Good. I'll be honest with you. Good. He shouldn't want to be associated with that. That's a sinking ship, man. Day of Reckoning. Thank you, that album reviewer. You got it. You got it. That is it. Exactly, Evil Toad and Dawson. That's what I mean. Like, that is a sinking ship, which is kind of apropos considering, or apropos rather, should I say, because Pirates of the Caribbean. People freak out about everything or anything. Now watch. Watch what happens whenever they recast Johnny Depp's character. First of all, there'll be backlash that's not Johnny Depp. That's the big thing you're going to see. But I highly expect that based off of their selection of who is going to be the replacement, all hell's going to break loose. All hell's going to break loose. Oh, I also need to quickly shoot a message over to somebody. You be quiet. Oh, the dude's trying to do the old... oh, how'd that get there move? This girl over here, this like little 13-year-old girl's like, I'm not impressed. If he really pulls this move, I'm going to punch him in the dick. So we have Alice in Chains, then we have a couple of tracks from Maru. And we have The Wreckage of Stars by the Black Crown Initiate. And we have the D-Generation X theme. Break it down. Can I be honest with you guys for like a hot minute? Can I super be honest with you guys for a hot minute? I kind of hate the fact that they brought back DX for like the 5th time. I feel like that's what WWE has kind of become known for doing. They need something big for an event like Crown Jewel or Super Showdown, so they rehash old ideas instead of building the current talent to become as memorable. They just go back to the wells that helped them during the Attitude Era or maybe the Ruthless Aggression Era, or they just call up John Cena, The Rock, or hope that Roman's able to pull off magic. They're not going to have that boat anymore. Hi, Zach. How you doing? Mango, much love. Much love. PCI have an album in the works? Good. Good. They're becoming another very reliable group. I mean, I know it's still very early in their career, but they've become reliable. Because I remember whenever the BCI album came out and just blew people, like it blew minds. Like nobody saw it coming. Exactly, Dawson. That is a really, really good point. And honestly, it is something where you can do that with the pay-per-view schedule and everything. It was done very well during the Attitude and Ruthless Aggression eras. But another thing that definitely doesn't help is the fact that they kind of dumbed down the product to try to cash in on, you know, the more family-friendly, you know, they have to please the stockholders. You gotta please the stockholders. You know, whenever you're a publicly traded company, there are restrictions. There are things you can't do, which is a shame. Because really, it's your company. You're in control of the product. And they're getting backlash as it stands because of Crown Jewel. Because Saudi Arabia right now is not getting the best of press. But all of that's secondary whenever it comes to why you can't build and create characters. And I think one of the big problems, like with Samoa Joe, we knew that he was a beast. And honestly, they could have continued what they were doing between him and AJ, but what probably should have happened was that they kind of blew their load a little early whenever it came to getting the family involved and then trying to milk that teat for 2 pay-per-views. What they really should have done is really built up Samoa Joe's rage a little bit more and what he was willing to do. You know? Like, have his descent into madness be a little bit more prolonged. And honestly, AJ should not have been the one to lose a match via disqualification. Like, it made sense. I liked the finish a lot. But there is a matchup in this situation where Samoa Joe should have been the one to lose it via disqualification. And then he should have done a spot with the ref. He should have gone outside and did a spot with like either announcers or like ring crew, maybe a cameraman, you know. Get somebody from NXT, like from the Performance Center out there holding the camera and have him take a bump, you know, whatever. You could even go one step further and put a plant in the crowd. You know, plant a like a Performance Center guy or like whatever in the crowd. Have him beat the crap out of him. You know, and then you have Samoa Joe as a monster, like a legit monster that will destroy everything in his path. The next SmackDown, you have him do just that. You have him encounter different superstars and just decimate them, like he's on a warpath. Then you can pull an angle where he's suspended, or he gets fired, whatever. And then you craft a storyline that gets him back into the fold. You give it a little rest. That way, whenever it comes back, it feels fresh again. 1:31. I see we're talking about Hugh Jackson. What happened to Eric Bischoff? He is like pretty much a free agent right now. Although he may have gotten picked up by TNA. No, I think that ship has sailed. I think he just roams around and like does guest bookings. He does. I don't know. I really don't know what he's doing anymore. Imagine if somebody tried to ban hands. Well, then what would Braun Strowman's opponents get? Looking for a band similar to Fear Factory. Might not be able to help you very much there. They're pretty unique. Just doing it 15 seconds behind. I'll check my side again. I'm perfect. I'm actually getting like more frames per second than I should. I just got 31. Holy crap. I'm in super motion. It's probably on YouTube's side in that case. I may have to go down to my neighbor's place for a quick moment. Because I guess somebody was beating down on our door. It's been happening a couple times. I will see whether or not I need to go down there. Cowboy from Alma. We have 3 tracks from Maru. This is the first. After this, we have Dead End Finland with War Forevermore, and then a Trees of Eternity track. So, you know how popular Trees of Eternity is in this chat, and if you're not familiar with them, you're about to be. Have I heard of Jim Cornette? Of course. Anybody who's been in wrestling should know the name Jim Cornette. Cornette is very, very instrumental whenever it comes to the wrestling business. I won't tell people why. They have to look that one up on their own. The only thing about Cornette's like podcasts and stuff that really irritates me is that his vocabulary is very limited. How do I feel about the Steelers this year? I feel better about them now than I did like 4 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. They looked very, very good against Cleveland, which you would say it's Cleveland, you know, that's not that hard to do. But remember, Cleveland's been in 4 overtime games this year, and really, by the criticism of some, could have been 5-0. But now they're 2-4-1, or 2-5-1, whatever the record is. I forget if they've had a bye week yet or not. Do I want him to trade Bell? At this point, it really doesn't matter. Connor's putting up comparable numbers. I still would like to have Bell because he is a tremendously versatile back. You know, he's a great talent. They'd be an amazing duo to have. Like, imagine that as like a fullback running back combo. It'd be absurd. Like, you would never know which person was getting the ball, and both of them would be a threat. But at this point, it's the ball is literally in Bell's court. Whatever he wants to do, if he keeps this up, then just trade him, get it over with. Take him in Philly? You guys gonna need him right now. You guys have been really inconsistent this year. But they've always said defending the title is almost always harder than winning it the first time. Oh, the Chiefs. The Chiefs are just a beautiful team to watch this year. The Chiefs are just an absolutely beautiful team to watch this year. I'm a Steeler fan, so you know how I feel about the Patriots. Dead End Finland with War Forevermore. Finish demystified? There's a video, and speaking of, this should tell you that I am kind of a wrestling nerd. One of the videos that's on the right side here, the up next side, we have Finish Demystified, Algalux The Mantle, full album, and then huge controversial plans for WWE Crown Jewel, which is probably nothing special. That sounds very clickbaity. That sounds very, very clickbaity. She's a motherfucking cowboy. Waterblanc with the 2 pounds 29 wants to hear some more Principin. It's with the leader of the Tyrants. I can't say no to some MPE because they are pretty good. I am a very, very smart individual that should receive high praise for his intelligence as I fuck up simple tasks. So that's 260 more going toward number 1. This is Dead End Finland with War Forevermore. Right now, it is looking like the Chiefs and the Rams have a heck of a road to the Super Bowl, potentially. Except the only problem that really is in the Chiefs' way is the fact that Patrick Mahomes is still young, so his experience as far as the playoffs is very limited. In fact, I don't think he has any experience at all. And, you know, the Patriots and the Steelers are still in the AFC, and the Patriots, of course, have looked more like themselves over the past couple weeks. Although, I'm telling you, they could have easily lost that game to the Chiefs, and they almost, well, the game with the Bears almost got tied, you know. They would have gone to overtime, and then it's anybody's ball game. So, if you can hang with the Patriots, you have a chance to beat the Patriots. I think the Steelers are looking a lot better, especially on the defensive side. They did they were really weak in the first quarter of yesterday's game, but for the last 3 quarters, they were impressive. They were looking really good. I really don't know, Waterblonk. I really don't know, man. I really don't know. It's kind of a shame, too, because I really enjoy Celtic Girl. I enjoy her being in the streams and everything. We haven't seen her in a bit. And the only reason why I said it the way I did was because I wanted it to be a surprise. I wanted to surprise her, and like you said, if she got the wrong impression from that, then that is completely on me, and nothing I can really do about it now, unfortunately. But imagine Super Bowl New England Patriots versus the Los Angeles Rams. I'd rather not. I'd rather imagine the Rams versus the Chiefs, or the Rams versus the Steelers. Although, I think Rams versus Steelers would be very, very bad for the Steelers. Because the defense is, obviously playing better. But they are by no means a solid, steady unit like they were in years, in the past, or even years where they were Super Bowl contenders or won the Super Bowl. So I don't think they could do that this year. I don't think that would happen this year. But there's one thing I've learned whenever it comes to the Steelers and football in general, is that surprises can happen. And sometimes a team goes into the playoffs as a number 6 and comes away the champ. Number 6 seed and comes away as the champ. Sometimes, and by that I mean once, a number 16 goes into the NCAA tournament and beats a number 1. That was last year. First time it's ever happened. You never know. You never know. Did I see the new Halloween? No, I didn't. I kind of want to, but I kind of, like, be weird. The Steagles. That was back when during, what was that, World War II, I think, where they had to combine the two teams because of the war effort. Yeah, I've seen Ghost's newest music video. Good stuff. Was it good? Cool. How are the people responding to the tragedy? A lot of love. A lot of love. There's been a lot of love that's been outpoured. And here's something for you. Here's something for all those who maybe are anti-Muslim out there in the world. The Muslim community of Pittsburgh raised $70,000 in support of the families who lost a loved one in that tragedy. So we have a very strong and very respectful Muslim community in Pittsburgh. And I was very proud to see that. I'm not Muslim myself. In fact, I'm really not much of anything. You know, we've discussed this before, where I'm still, you know, the tick box by my name would probably say Roman Catholic, but I wouldn't really say I'm definitely not practicing. But it was a very, very sad day, and it was senseless. The guy just wanted to straight up kill Jews. And you know what else is worse about it? I'll tell you, this is the worst part about it. He's still alive. Not only did he kill innocent people, but he also shot, wounded, and potentially killed armed guards. You know, armed policemen. So the thing that supposedly is supposed to fix this didn't at all. Because those armed policemen were shot, and this guy's still alive. Does not look like Swiss cheese in a coffin. I don't either, Zach. I don't either. And I don't say that because I'm like 5% Jewish. You know, based off of my my heritage and everything like that. I just say that because, like, even after 9/11, like, there's a lot of just Islamophobia or Muslim phobia, whatever, you know, the term is. But you know that's not everybody. You know that's not every single one of them. Extremism is a bad, bad thing. Like, I can tell you for a fact that there are Trump supporters out there. If you hate Trump, there are Trump supporters out there that are A-OK people. You know? They are just fine and dandy as individuals. You know, they're not assholes. They're not the ones that you see running around yelling at people, you know, going out of their way to be dicks. That's just, they supported him over Clinton, over Hillary Clinton. And it's simply because I didn't campaign hard enough on the CKN channel for a really cool rock. That was my fault. That was my mistake. Trees of Eternity. With Gallows Bird up next. Oh boy. You want to talk about another potentially very emotional 10-minute period. This features Nick Holmes from Paradise Lost. Enjoy this. This is magnificent. If you've never heard of Trees of Eternity, you are in for a treat. See you later, Metal Fury. You have yourself a good one. They also listen to bad pop music and they're trying to convert you to Islam. That seems really weird. You'll admit? Hey, and you're perfectly fine. You and I could easily converse and get along. You know? Yeah. The Queen film? I don't know. If you'd asked me this earlier this year, I'd have said yes. As it's creeping up, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, I kind of do. I'm kind of hearing some bad rumblings about it. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, so did I, Joe. Like, I heard that the way it was handled wasn't great. That's my concern. Like, I want to come out of that film and immediately want to, like, run to my Queen records or you know, look up the Queen's greatest hits on YouTube on my phone while I'm in the car going home and just sing, and I want to do that. I want that movie to just make me want to tell everybody, hey, if you don't own a Queen record, you should buy one. And I will still say that. If you don't own a Queen record in your collection, you should probably get one. They're an exceptionally talented band. They were, should I say. Go with their 70s material. Their 80s material is not bad. In fact, their 80s material is pretty decent. But again, the clips of it looks really, really good. I'm just not sure about everything else. So, I don't know. I might not. I might see Aquaman, because Jason Momoa is amazing. I might not, because do I really want to waste my money on it? I don't go and see a lot of films in theaters, is the thing. I don't really do that very often. It's got to be something that I really want to see, and Faith really wants to see. Like, something that we're both really super excited about. You know, if it's something that I'm not into and she's into, I mean, she has a couple friends, they'll go. You know, they'll enjoy the hell out of it. For me, it takes a lot more for me to be excited. You know? Music biopics, if they look halfway decent. Movies that look halfway original. Ugh. Now, the Mr. Rogers biopic film is kind of a must-see. Because Fred Rogers not only was from the Pittsburgh area, you know, he's an icon around here, but also Fred Rogers was a member of Phi Mu Alpha, so he is a brother. He is one of my brothers, literally. So yes, I will absolutely have to see that film, and will. Dawson, that's why I love Momoa. I've watched through Frontier. I'm excited as fuck for the 3rd season whenever it comes. It's amazing. It's really, really good. And I saw somebody say it earlier that one of the most heartbreaking things about this album is what might have been. We were talking about Jeff Buckley sort of in that same light earlier. And yeah, it's a similar situation. Just totally reinforces the idea that cancer is a terrible disease that needs beaten. Or we need to have better, more effective solutions for folks. Yeah. Yep. Pittsburgh, PA. And I think the biggest part of why it's such, this is a really tough album to listen to is because it's hauntingly beautiful, but the melancholy almost, the melancholy in the delivery, it's almost tired. It's almost like this, it's like that. She knows that after this is done, she will have fulfilled her mission. And then it's a matter of time. That this is her life's work. This is her lifeblood. Oh. And again, Nick Holmes. Nick Holmes is honestly just, he's underrated in many ways. How do I feel about Greta Van Fleet? Decent enough album. Wasn't the train wreck I thought it was going to be. But I still want to hear a little more from him. But it was a very listenable album. Still a lot of Led Zeppelin feelings. But as I said whenever it first came out, you know, the same people that are complaining about this band are the same ones that also, like, a couple years ago, wished and prayed that there'd be, I wish Led Zeppelin would be back, you know, I wish that we had another band like Led Zeppelin, you know, blah, blah, blah. Then you you get exactly that, and you're like, oh well, they're just trying to be Led Zeppelin. They're not Led Zeppelin. Shut up. What do you think the Black Crowes were? Black Crowes were Jimmy Page basically saying, we're not Led Zeppelin. We're the Black Crowes. We're a little different, but we're going to take a different approach to music, similar to what Led Zeppelin did, at least initially. So this is third generation Led Zeppelin. We'll be. Who cares? Nick and Bloodbath is pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it at first. I knew that he had great death growls, and he really brought those back into play and kept them as savage as possible. I like that. I also really liked Peter in there. I've liked just about, I've liked every one, should I say, of Bloodbath's singers, their vocalists. But I think Nick brings a nice element to it. I like it. Well, the thing is that he's returned to the death growls after really building up Paradise Lost during a portion of their career as a really well-designed, like gothic metal singer, clean singer. So that would be like if Catatonia went back to it, or if like the Kavanaughs would go back to it for Anathema from their early days. Again, it would be selling it, or just, why? Doesn't even really need to happen. Yeah, I heard about the Static X album, and I'm just... why? Like, what's the point of that? How did I feel whenever Chris Cornell passed? Well, first of all, it was a hard day, because I love Soundgarden. I love Cornell's solo work. I love him in Temple of the Dog. He's a terrific vocalist, was a terrific vocalist, and somebody who I always kind of wanted to emanate a little bit, So at one point I had the dream of being a vocalist in a band. That dream's dead. Whatever. What was even harder, I think, was a couple days later I was going through some of my belongings, and I found some things that I hadn't touched or looked at for a while, and I actually found that poster right there, and that was extremely difficult to deal with because I was not expecting it. I forgot that I possessed that poster, and it just kind of comes back and haunts me like a dream. So that was pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie, that was not an easy moment. Black Crown Initiate with the Wreckage of Stars up next. We have two other tracks after that, and then I don't know what we're gonna do. I know what I'm gonna do during Wreckage of Stars. I am going to go ahead and take a short break. I am gonna go down and check on Mine Boire, make sure everything is okay. So I will be with you guys momentarily. Don't go away. Enjoy Black Crown Initiates the Wreckage of Stars. If you don't know this band, we've had a lot of this so far in this stream. If you don't know this band, make the effort. They're very good. I'll be right back. Better take this with me just in case I need to call Dave.
save the living.
Oh no, it's an ad!
I will become
And for
a
Overlord.
Okay.
Don't care. Ah, missed it by just that much. Just a couple seconds. Alright. Up next we have the DX theme. Oh, lordy. Lordy, lordy, lordy. 28 million views, that's all?
Are you ready?
Well, this is going to take me back to like
Tell us what to do.
20 years ago.
You think you could tell us what to wear? You think that you're better?
I just magically appeared. That's what I do.
You better get ready.
Kind of an amazing, a magical person.
Bow to the
Not really.
masters. Break it down.
Ascendancy. It's a possibility. Might be. Andrew Washburn, what's going on, my friend? How are you doing today? Good to see you, man. Yeah, we've been going for about 2.5 hours. We're steadily moving toward hour number 3, which I'll probably be here until 6:30 or 7 o'clock. Probably 7 o'clock. That's my plan, so another 15 minutes or so. I am getting kind of hungry, I will say that. I'm getting freaking famished. Streaming always makes me hungry. That's how it happens. I ate all my damn snacks. Oh well. Oh well. What are you gonna do? I'll be honest, I didn't really plan to like wake up and immediately start streaming. So I streamed a little bit earlier than I intended to today. I told everybody on Friday it was not going to be until about 4, and then 3:30 comes along, and I'm like, ah, fuck it, why not? No, they never made a new theme for him. They've used this video pretty much every time. Like, I don't even think they remixed it. Probably because they wanted to cash in on the nostalgia. It's gotten to the point where I'm pretty sure they believe that if people from like my generation, you know, the Attitude Era generation, find out that DX is returning, that that's going to instantly bring in views, and that's not been proven at all. So last track we have in our queue right now, we have Mors Principum Est with Liter of the Tyrants. And then that's it for us right now. That's it for us at the moment. So we'll have to get something together here. We'll have to get something together here, which is fine. We can do that. Metallica or Megadeth? I'm more of a Megadeth. I'm more of a Megadeth fan between the two of them. I've seen Megadeth, good lord. How many times have I seen Megadeth? 2 or 3 times. I've never seen Metallica live, though. That's the one thing that's eluded me thus far in my Metalhead's journey. I've never seen Metallica live. There's been a couple of opportunities, but their tickets are also pretty pricey. But I've seen like plenty of live, plenty of the live spectacle, and seen what their shows appear like. They appear like they'd be pretty fun, but I don't know if it's necessarily something I need to have happen before I die. Like, I don't think it's going to be like any sort of affirmation of my metal card or something like that. Have you ever seen Guns N' Roses? No. I'm not a huge Guns N' Roses fan, if I'm being honest. In fact, I think the Guns N' Roses as a whole is pretty overrated. But that's just me. That's not a very popular opinion, and I accept that. Just one man's feelings. That's why I get so, I'm so surprised when there were people like, well, reviews are dumb, blah, 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 or, this video is stupid because why talk about music in a video? Why are you commenting on a video about music? Why'd you click on it, Why'd you have that kind of interest in that case? What? You probably just posted that because you didn't like my opinion. Do I like the Beatles? Absolutely. Yeah, Beatles are great. I listened to a lot of Beatles whenever I worked at the music store because my boss was an absolute, like, madman collector. Like, he is a Beatles superfan number, like, 6,000. Yeah, I did make a video about how they're overrated, and the, something happened with the video on that, too. Like, it has a weird tint to it. But whatever. I don't care. My opinion, whenever it comes to a lot of, whenever it comes to reviews and opinions and stuff like that, the quality of your video should be kind of secondary to the message that's in it. Straight up, Joe, man. It's all good. I saw Trivium live on Ozfest a number of years back. Good live band. I'll be here till 7, Joe, so I'll be here for about another 45 minutes. You have yourself a good one, bro. In case I don't see it. Yeah, if you want to request a song, exclamation point, request songs. You can use either the super chat feature right here on YouTube or the preferred method, which is PayPal. $2-3 to get you a track that's 5 minutes or less. The track is over 5 minutes. It's a $5 donation. Any song that's over 10 minutes, it's $1 a minute. And 30% of your donations are going to the Organization for Autism Research, so it is definitely worthwhile. Reed, what's going on, man? How you doing? Axl Rose is still kind of a big douche. Some of those folks never change. It's kind of like Gene Simmons. Maybe we're misremembering Gene Simmons, where we thought that he was like this really cool guy in the 70s, like this guy to look up to. You know, that was whenever Kiss was in their absolute heyday. Attitudes were a little bit different back then also, but Gene Simmons just comes off to me as this really big arrogant ass. Like this 1% aristocratic rock star wannabe. Like, he doesn't even, to me, feel like a rock star anymore. This is Morse Principum Est with the leader of the Tyrants. Phil Labonte said something really, really dumb, and from what I've heard about the new album, they're going to be kind of going back. You know, they're going to be kind of going back on their words a little bit, and of course, Ollie just passed, and honestly, that was kind of horrible. I kind of give Phil a little bit of a pass, because I feel like he's, in many ways, just sort of misguided. Or he also wants to... He wants to believe that all that remains is kind of exhausted what they could do with metal, and the only way that they could become more of a band or like keep themselves together or whatever is if they branch out a little bit. I could have had a certain amount of respect if he would have gone about his discussion about his own band with a little bit more grace. You know, just a little bit more tact. Yeah, that's kind of the problem that Phil had. But aside from that, you know, Phil's not like a repeat offender where he's said something, you know, even worse, you know, after the fact or something like that. So I don't mind Phil. You know, you can be on the like 10 biggest douchebags of the year list and still be somebody who I can somewhat respect, so long as it's like your only offense or just something that, you know, in many ways you don't like. I don't even know if that list is going to happen this year because I don't know who that list would really entail, and this is around the time whenever that list usually comes out, so that'd be one where I'd have to turn a lot to the people, and I know that turning to the people is not the best of moves, because most of them will just want a rehashed rant on people that I've ranted about already multiple times, like, you know, Gene or Rob Flynn. He'd probably be on the list. That Joker from Atreyu, oh my god, he would definitely be on the list. So there's 2. Question is the other 8. You know, we have Jabrower. with DJ Paul L-Stack and Dr. Funk with Engelte. Engelte, yeah? Engelte, yeah? Ugh. Some EDM. Because why not? We like some EDM on this channel. Oh, I know this song. I'm familiarized. Thanks to Waterblunk for that. Appreciate that. Hey Andy, how's it going, my friend? We're doing okay. Kind of chilled out. Definitely not as bad as Friday. But of course, Friday was Bad Song Stream, and that was an experience and a half, was it not? We're also about running with about 40 minutes left of the stream. Been running for a little longer than originally anticipated because I came on board a little bit earlier. I came on before 4. Because I just kind of was sitting here and was like, you know what, I should just start the stream. Why not? Get it. Yep. Yeah. Exactly, Dawson. Did a video on that, and you can definitely tell the sort of irrelevant nature of Atreyu by the number of views that video got, which was not many. What is speedcore? No. Eugene just... That is a question not worth asking at this moment. In before it gets requested again. But again, like I said, I'll listen to that full album. But that is if the price is right. And that's a hefty-ass price. Because apparently that album has like 30 tracks. None of the tracks are under 6 minutes. It's like 3 hours worth of whatever that was that we listened to on Friday. The little recreation of the Last Supper right there was pretty cool. 21 million views, can't be wrong. Supercharger. I would probably listen to Supercharger over listening to Catharsis again if I'm being real. Like, if I'm being super honest. Supercharger was pretty bad, though. Like, if there was a rank on Machine Head, that would be very, very low on the list. It would probably be second from the bottom. The only reason why I don't, like, immediately flop in and do a Machine Head rank them all is because my sort of displeasure toward Catharsis is still fresh. And I would want for that to be kind of fair. So... I'm going to be listening to the album again very, very soon. I'll be listening to Catharsis the tail end of November, first part of December. Mostly because my feeling toward that album versus my feeling toward Godsmack's new album at this moment is pretty well set which one I think is worse. However, I do also, whenever I'm making lists, like to give albums one final opportunity to try to either impress me or one final opportunity to sort of solidify things. And also, if I'm ever in a situation where a tie occurs, like we had the tie occur between Hand Cannot Erase and the Book of Souls, as a good example, a couple years ago. I think that was the 2 albums. Then the way in which I determine a winner, or determine like the breaking of the tie for the list, and only in big positions like that, mind you. You know, only if it's something where it's for the win. Is by playing the albums again and seeing which one has sort of aged better, even if the age process is just a couple of months, because that's important to kind of take a look at. Nightwish with the Islander. You were kind of in rage mode? Yeah. I was. It was kind of beautiful, in a weird way. I was, I'll be honest with you, sometimes you can tell kind of where I'm at in life through some of those videos, because I would say that that was one video where the rage was very pure. It was very much calculated toward the album itself, which is odd considering, you know, beyond the scope of, you know, CKN and everything like that. I was kind of in a weird place. Like, I was in a very weird like situation as far as my personal life was concerned and things like that. So it was, you know, typically and traditionally that would be somewhere where I would say, hey, you know, part of that is for the character, but that was all 100%. That album was, that was a real trial to listen to. It is a real trial, and of course, like I said, I like to listen to things multiple times before I review it. And like, even the thought of listening to that album a second time just kind of made me nauseous. And usually whenever I feel that way, that's how I know an album is probably going to be rated pretty low, or has really the threat of being like the worst of the year, you know, as part of that list. Whenever I listened to the Godsmack album, I felt that almost instantaneously. And really, I almost felt that way prior to even listening to the full album because of the single that I heard on the radio. Because I didn't even really know that that album was coming out. And as I've said kind of multiple times on stream, I was coming back from a show, and Faith and I were listening to the radio on our way back. We were coming back actually from the Pixies and Weezer show, so we were listening to alternative radio, you know, fairly. And it was, I don't even remember the name of the song, because I just don't care about, like, that album is such a like worthless dung heap that nothing about it is memorable. So that's sort of where like Lady Justice sort of needs to pan out a winner come December, because you have, you know, what is worse, like what is truly worse, an album that is miserable and shows, you know, a somewhat beloved metal icon in a different light, and is really just, you don't really even know what they were going for half the time, but there are sparks of good ideas here and there that are either ruined by subject matter, or, you know, who really was sort of turning the screws for that album. It's overlong and overcrowded. Or this album over here, which is almost, well, no, it isn't almost, it is boring beyond memory, and just feels like, it feels like it almost would have been better if the album didn't exist at all. Like, there would be nothing changed. Like, nothing has been changed by this album. When Legends Rise, I think is, I can't even remember the name of the album. That is how unmemorable this Godsmack release is. I think it's called When Legends Rise, or is that the name of the single? Someone help me out here. You know, I haven't touched that album ever since. And I didn't review it. I should have, but that was whenever I was doing 10,000 other things, including the CD sale. CD sale took a lot of my time, and I was also not very, I didn't like my voice whenever it came to reviewing at that point, because I did have a review for Automata 2, and I played it back to myself, as I often, you know, will do. I hate watching my own work half the time, but I played it back, and I just said to myself, did I say anything, like, through this review? Did I say anything at all? And the answer that my mind gave me was no, not really, and it got junked. It got deleted immediately. The Islander from Nightwish, though, up next. 9 million views on this. That's something I like to see. I like to see that a lot. So again, Scales of Justice kind of really have to play a little bit of a role there. And aside from that, you know, new 3 Days Grace is boring. Shoot, I didn't even know they had a new album out. Some of those bands, it's not very surprising that I've no like recollection of that. Andrew Washburn coming through with a $5 donation. Also, See if there's a comment here. There is not. Andrew, if you were in chat, not Andy Fox, obviously, one of the like 7 other Andrews that we have. Raped in Hatred by Vines of Thorn by the Black Dahlia Murder. Andrew, you know that's one of my favorite songs by them. That's awesome. We'll get that in after The Islander from Nightwish. Which of the 3 incentives would you like to support with that $5 donation? And once again, I thank you very much for that, my friend. I listened to the new Pig Destroyer. Yes, I did. I was not very impressed. I honestly feel that album was kind of overhyped. I doubt you'll even see it crack the list. You probably will not see it crack the list. See, that's another thing that you have to take into account, OA, is the fact that Catharsis was 74 minutes. Too long, overbloated, you know? It was an album that could... Catharsis was an album that could have used a little bit of self-edit. You know, it could have used a little bit of self-maintenance. There's a lot of things that Catharsis could have used, and like that's the one big. Like, if the subject matter and, you know, Rob's obvious, like, curtailing over toward, like, the SJW circle of cuck is one thing. The fact that it was over-bloated is easily the largest secondary offender, and probably the more primary of the 2 offenses. I would say the over-bloated nature would be more so the reason why Catharsis... Like, if I did a 5 reasons Catharsis was a failure video, like, had I done that back in the day, that'd probably be my #1 reason. And a lot of people would probably disagree with me and say, no, it's because, you know, Rob Flynn turned into blah, 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 blah. And you know what? That's a fair opinion. That's a damn fair opinion. I couldn't disagree with that, but that was an album that needed not be 74 minutes. Yeah, my curiosity is that they had grown very used to writing longer albums with fewer songs, obviously, whenever they were writing, you know, The Blackening and, you know, like, Unto the Locust and things like that. So, is this just, like, did they feel like they needed that much? Or did, like, Rob need to have all that time for his manifesto? Or, I mean, kudos to a band for having a lot of material and being very creative, which they really weren't tremendously creative on that album, but, you know, kudos for them having a lot of songs to work with, but you have to be willing to do a little bit of, you know, self-reflection and self-editing, you know, trim that fat a little bit. There's a lot of fat on there. Yeah. The load and reload cycle is, again, one of those deals where had they done a little bit of self-editing and made that into 1 album instead of 2, I mean, obviously you don't get the benefit of the double sales, you know, the sales of both records, which gave them a lot of units sold, gave them a paycheck. But as a result, whenever you get beyond the slew of fans that say, oh, well, those aren't real Metallica albums because they don't sound like insert prior album here, then you also have the fact that it's like blues metal that whenever it's done really, really well, it's done well, obviously. Makes sense. Whenever it's done well, the album's very listenable, but then they do have a lot of fluff in there. There's a lot of fluff, and that's what hurts the album quite a bit. Uh-oh. Andy, I'm sure that you've probably gotten a similar message from our good buddy Lurch, who's no doubt lurking. Lurkin' Lurch is no doubt lurking. Interesting. Will do, Lurch, if you happen to be lurking. You don't think Load has any fillers? The first part of the second half of the album kind of does. It's kind of fluffy. Right after Bleeding Me. Right after Bleeding Me, it gets a little fluffy there for a while. And then, honestly, one place where Reload kind of does things a little bit well. Yes, I did, Andy. one thing I think Reload did well is that they had some really cool closing tracks. So I think they did that very well. I forget if I already got this in or not, so we're going to go ahead and put it in there anyway. We have another donation from Waterblanc, from Marlon. Thank you very much, brother. Wants to hear a little bit of Arion, but before that, we have Raped in Anger from Vines of Thorn. Or by Vines of Thorn, not... What the hell did I say? I don't even know. We have Black Dahlia Murder, and easily, I would say, my favorite Black Dahlia Murder song of all time. I love this song. This song is amazing. It may or may not be about Evil Dead, who knows? It's kind of hard to imagine it not being about it. I was going to say, hello, audio, where are you? No, this is not Metallica now, huh? Nope, Waterblanc, I just got to it. Lurch is not getting with us, oh boy. The band you just heard was Nightwish. This is the Black Dahlia Murder. No, Waterblanc, it wasn't hidden, I was just in the middle of a conversation. The one thing that I really, like I said, I really like about Reload is the fact that it has Where the Wild Things Are, it has Low Man's Lyric, and honestly, you know, Fixer's not bad either. Fixer's not bad either. I'd still say that between the two, the Outlaw Torn's the better song, you know, the better closer, but Fixer's not bad. Oh, Load and Reload. I still go back to them from time to time. I really do. Reload was the very first metal album I ever bought. So, there's that. So I do have a lot of history with that album. €3 from Maru. Version Maru with Lalzvat Juset, which I no doubt just destroyed. My apologies. Oh my. The savagery on this song is just... Oh, I love it. Low Man's Lyric is a terrific song. Low Man's Lyric back in the day legitimately depressed me. Like, it made me want to die. But I appreciated it. Because I very quickly learned that the reason why it did that was because I felt it. You know, I felt it, like, down to my core, and whenever you have music affect you that way, you have to hold respect for it. And as I grew, like, as I became older, I respected the composition of it even more. Were they a Christian band? Not really. I think a lot of times that was kind of a false label, but there are a lot of allegory to it. There's a lot of allegory to Christianity within their music, which is really funny considering back whenever My Own Prison came out, I was still pretty young. I was like 12. So I think it came out in 96 or 97. And I asked for that album for Christmas. I told the story in the stream before, I think. And I guess my mother was going to go up and she was going to pick it up for me, you know. I learned this like Christmas Day whenever I like got the other albums. I was like, well, what about... And then she like volunteered the information. She said that she went up there and asked one of the workers about it, and the worker said it was too depressing. They said it was too depressing of an album. Strokes are pretty good. Strokes are pretty decent. I think I reviewed one of their newer albums. Hey Jeff, what's going on, dude? Tenor versus 10, all the way. Oh man. I'm slightly biased because I looked this out of 10, and I've spun that disc 10 trillion times. Especially whenever I was in college, because one of my roommates that I had for multiple years, we were both massive alternative music fans. So whenever I wasn't listening to heavy metal, he and I were jamming out to alt rock. You know, we were jamming out to Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains. We were both huge Alice in Chains fans, and I introduced him to Push Monkey, and he introduced me to the Dave Matthews Band, like beyond the singles and things like that. So we've got a lot of wear out of 10 by Pearl Jam. We got a lot of wear out of 311, stuff like that. Core or Purple? Core. God, I love Core. Purple's a really good album, though, and famously, that same night that I heard that Godsmack single, the reason why we were listening to the radio is because while we were waiting to get out of the damn arena, we made it through Purple by Stone Temple Pilots like 1.5 times. We went all the way through the album while we were in line just to exit the arena, and I think we got to, oh gosh, I want to say we made it to either Still Remains, like somewhere in the middle there. It was either Still Remains or like Pretty Penny, because I don't think we made it as far as Army Ants or like any of the like latter portion of that album. No, we did. Holy shit! Never mind. We did make it that far because I remember as we finally we made it through that album twice. Because as we were just initially starting to drive down the road, I remember singing along to the very last track on that album, Kitchenware and Candy Bars. Holy crap. So we made it through Purple twice just trying to leave Post-Gazette Pavilion after the Pixies and Weezer concert, because there was, oh my gosh, there's a ton of people there. Like, that concert was a big deal. And I guarantee they were mostly Weezer fans, but we had a couple really, really big Pixies fans that were around us in the seats, and man, oh man, like, the passion that those fans have, it's freaking great. It's terrific. I wish I could tell you who opened for those two bands, because that'd be kind of cool to tell you. But I forget. E equals MC squared from Marion's up next. Oh, that's an ad. Good lord. I was like, that doesn't sound like Arion. What's going on? I clicked away there for a second. Dirt or Facelift? Dirt is probably my one of my favorite alternative albums of all time, if not the top spot. So that's pretty easy. Dirt, I call Dirt the most real album that I've ever heard, and it's because every piece of emotion and every piece of somebody who is getting like gripped on drugs or just destroyed internally by results of things that have happened in the past and internal emotions, and basically is self-destructing, you can hear on Dirt. How do I don't make it as a computer engineer? Because I suck at it. Look at my stream. My stream looks like crap. I have not heard the new British Lion song yet, no. That might be just you, Waterblown. Once again, a lot of these problems that I'm saying, I have perfect FPS, I've dropped no frames, great bitrate, everything's great on my side, so that has to be a YouTube thing. How do I feel about current ASC? I love them. I still love the band to this very day. Rainier Fog was a terrific disc. I compared it to in the review to the Tripod album from the original, I say original lineup, but really it's, well, I guess you could really call it that, considering half of that lineup is dead. I get the volume turned down. My laptop, the microphone is connected with the camera there, and I do that so I don't get I don't get audio doubling. I don't get audio doubling that way. They're saying that Bruce should have sung the new single? Oh. I think folks just need to learn to be happy. I think that's really hard. Favorite DMB album? Oh, man. The funny thing is I could easily list like Before These Crowded Streets or, Crash or something like that, but I'd say the best albums that I've heard from DMB has been the live albums, like Live at Red Rocks, or like one of their collections that they've released. You know, honestly, if you want the best experience with Dave, check out their live stuff. Their live stuff's incredible. I mean, yeah, they're longer jam style songs. They're lengthy, but you feel the music a lot more, and it's really great for travel. Most obscure band that I listen to? My own bands that are in my head. They're pretty obscure because I'm the only person that knows about them. Every band that's in my head has one fan, and that's me. Favorite Kanye West album? My Dark Twisted Beautiful Fantasy, or My Dark Beautiful Twisted Fantasy, however the language is on that one. I still consider that a masterpiece of rap from this decade, and I don't think that's going to change. Drake? I don't listen to a lot of Drake, so I don't think I have a favorite album. So, unfortunately, you know, that's a question I can't answer because I don't know nearly enough. You know, I've listened more so to like a single here and there as opposed to full discs. Is Ye worse than Yeezus? All I have to say is hoopity scoop, scoop whoop. Yeezus was surprisingly cohesive. He was kind of just E. This is Arion with E equals MC squared. This is off of 010110001 from 2008. Kind of an underrated and underappreciated album. Mostly because it came after the Human Equation, which the Human Equation is pretty well universally beloved. So, I think it gets kind of some... I don't want to say it gets flack, because it really doesn't. Anybody who listens to it loves it. I've had riffs from songs just come into my head, and then I can't place where they're from. Like, I can't place where they belong, like, legitimately. So that becomes really kind of, it's very weird to have that experience. That's a pretty cool little cut there. Verjaramu, I'll put this in chat, by the way, so y'all can see. Lavet Juicet is the name of the track that we are about to hear. This was requested from Maru. I already like what I'm seeing here because I see a guy who is in corpse paint, and I'm just going to post the one that, I'm just going to play the one that has just the album cover. Just in case you guys are having some playback issues. My favorite Will Smith album? I mean, come on, you gotta love Big Willie style. My favorite working stand-up comedian right now would be Jim Jeffries. Jim Jeffries is tremendous. Tremendous, man. Good Kid, Mad City or To Pimp a Butterfly? Good Kid, Mad City. Only because I have played that album a countless number of times over the course of the past couple years. Like, ever since I got that on physical CD, again. I had that a while back, it got stolen. So then I finally rebought it again back in like 2015. I don't think that that album has ever actually seen the inside of this apartment. I think it's just been in my car the entire time. Oh, it's a Slavonian dialect, so nobody understands them even here in Finland. Nice! I'm not alone! It's a Slavonian dialect, apparently, Joe. 1989, your reputation. 1989, actually. Like, 1989 as a pop album is not the worst thing in the world, but it's not all that great, you know? Like, I didn't have much to say about that. Reputation was bad. Reputation is kind of a step backwards. It sounds like Dutch while having a stroke. Oh my god. Maybe that's what rednecks actually sound like to the rest of America. Like you go and, speaking of redneck dialect to somebody in like New York City or Los Angeles and they think that you're just ill. You just walk up there and be like, damn, look at all these damn big old buildings here. Piggy squeal. I'm not sure what that actually was. That was odd. That's what that was weird. Imagine the Dragons are 21. Honestly, probably 21 Pilots, because I'm hearing good things about their new album. Man. Imagine Dragons has essentially been like a one-song band for me, and everything after that's been abysmal. Evolution got the #1. I'm not totally surprised. I'm not really surprised by that. I feel like Disturbed is a group that their fan base is more rabid than Godsmack's, and plus, to boot, Disturbed has also had the better last couple of years, considering the Sound of Silence brought in people. You know, the Sound of Silence did more than just say, hey, you know, David Draymond can sing. They also had other people thinking, wow, Disturbed has really changed, or wow, you know, maybe I should scope out Disturbed again, maybe I misjudged them a bit, maybe they're not doing the same thing over and over again. Oh yeah, I've heard Rockstar by Post Malone way too many times. I had a neighbor that played pop radio at a very loud and obnoxious volume, and they played Rockstar by Post Malone about 3 times an hour. That is not a lie. I go out in the hallway to smoke. I don't smoke in the apartment, so I tell you, there was one moment where it felt like I smoked a cigarette, like whenever I was starting the cigarette, Rockstar was finishing up, and then by the time I was done with the cigarette, they were putting Rockstar by Post Malone back on. So that was an experience. Well, anyway, folks, that is it for our queue. It has been exhausted, and so I am going to take my leave as well, but not without one more song. And I want to do this in kind of honor of something that just happened. And also to potentially expose you guys to a band that you would have otherwise had no idea about. And that's probably true of many of you. But my weekend was fantastic because of not only the success of Bad Song Stream 2, but also because of the fact that I got a couple of books in the mail, and then I also got this, which I posted on social media. This is Part the Second by Monolin of the Well. This is the only physical disc of theirs that I did not own in my collection. So I have My Fruit Psychobells, A Sea Combustible, I have Bath and Leaving Your Body Map, and now I finally have Part the Second. I would have gotten this on vinyl, but they had already sold out by the time that I was alerted to this by somebody in the community, which I thank them very, very much for that, considering I did not, unfortunately, participate in the crowdfund that got this album made because I didn't know about it. And those who participated and donated a certain amount got the first pressing of this album. This is a second pressing, and that's good enough for me. Although if I ever hunt down a first pressing, I will be on that like white on rice. Why that's also really important is because whenever I first started CKN, I never really thought that musicians would reach out to me, or you know, folks would reach out to me and want to like send me their work and maybe have me talk about it, or at the very least hear what, you know, You know, the folks in this community are extremely generous. Not to mention, they are very talented. And one of the folks that, or should I say, the very first person that ever did that was Greg Massey, who was the bass player on this album and was in modeling in the past as well. He had a brand new band that he was working on entitled Balisette. Those of you who are stream veterans from this year probably remember the song because we did play it earlier this year. But I want to play for you this song off of their album A Time for Rust, which I'm pretty sure is the only album that they've ever made, because I've heard nothing else from the project since. Which is a shame, because they are very, very good. And if you like Modeling on the Well, there's a good chance you'll like Balisette a lot. So the end of the stream is going to be brought to you by Blacklight Moon from Balisette. Not to mention also the fact that this was a lot more chill than Bad Song Stream, where all of us collectively probably left that stream with a migraine. Surprisingly, I didn't. But all that I left that stream with is a brand new incentive for somebody who has way too much money. You know, ruin my life for 3 hours by making me listen to horrible music, you know, from one band, one album, for just $5,000. But anyway, here's Balisette with Blacklight Moon. I hope you enjoy it. We'll talk a couple more minutes while this is playing, because it's a 6-minute long song. I'm planning a review, Andy. The album was interesting. You can kind of take my tone or the way I looked whenever I said that, however you like. Yep, that's true, they did. Did I review the last Toby Driver album? No, I didn't. Unfortunately not. I don't even think I reviewed the last KO album. But they're working on one that should be released pretty soon. They're already debuting the material at clubs. I didn't listen to the new Striper album. I'll be blunt. I didn't listen to it. And honestly, your opinions, like your comments on it, make me not want to touch it. Like not even like as a casual, like not even as a casual listen. I kind of don't even want to. Maybe. It might be another Evolution style problem though, where I may be a little more forgiving. Veil was a really cool track though. They definitely did good things with their epic. I'll give them that much. That was a heck of a good track. For the rest of the album, that's going to be the interesting conversation. I'll give one more spoiler. There's a real possible chance that Haken doesn't make the top albums of the year list at all. Whether it's a 30 or a 50 or a 25. If it's 25, it definitely doesn't make it in. If it's a 30, that's really questionable. If it's a 50, maybe it squeaks in. I'm going to type the name of this. Actually, I'm going to give you the name of the song, and I'm going to give you the YouTube link in chat, because this deserves to be heard by the world. And rightfully so, it has a position on the Music Needed by Ears list also. Even though I just put it on there now. Because I forgot to before. Honestly, the production didn't bother me on that album. And I think what really was the kicker for me was that I was just blown away by the emotion on the album, that the production didn't even matter. Like, they connected with me on that emotional level, so the rest of it was just like nitpicky. Well, sometimes it is kind of hard to translate a chorus. The fact that that album broke me down, like literally broke me to pieces was, that's no small feat. You know, like Trees of Eternity doing that, no small feat. Most innovative black metal album? Ooh, it's actually a really good question. I think I'd probably have to scour the landscape a little bit more to get you a real good opinion. But I really like bands that do things similar to what and the name just escaped me. Like look what Leviathan did with their last album. Anytime that black metal kind of takes their sound and then applies things that make it even more of a very like despondent atmosphere, or very creepy, off-putting, almost like you're alone in a decrepit room that has stories to tell. I think that's where the evil really comes out, or when black metal is really at a fine hour, because the music is being utilized more than just as this, you know, very typical driven machine. It's instead becoming more of an art form and really fully embracing the element of mood. Dawson, this honestly, this is a song that reminded me of getting through my darkest of hours and being happy on the other side. But again, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for coming and spending a little bit of time with me tonight. Our last stream of the Autism series will be on Wednesday, Halloween night. Someone was asking what I'm doing for Halloween. I'm streaming! I'll be here. I hope that you will be as well, unless you have plans for the Halloween season. If you do, then I'll see you next time. I will let you know, though, after Wednesday's stream, I will be taking a short little break from streaming, so I won't be streaming Friday, and probably won't be streaming for a good portion of next week either. But whenever we return, Video Mania will be our target. More on that as it develops. Folks, I love you all. Mwah! CKN Club for life. You guys take care.